Quinten Grimes is due for a breakout season with the New York Knicks as he details his offseason workouts with two NBA legends. And we also get the reaction from the Obi Toppin trade with Julius Randle. All that and much more on the Knicks Digest. What's up, guys? It's your boy Dariel from the Knicks Digest. Before we move on to the rest of the video, I want to remind you guys to subscribe to the channel as the Knicks Digest is growing, and we're also putting out videos regarding contracts, regarding players, and their offseason workouts. So just make sure you hit that subscribe button and tune into the Knicks Digest. All right, guys, we're going to jump right into today's video. We're going to jump into Quinten Grimes off-season workouts. So a few days ago, SNY broke the report of how Quinten Grimes really tuned into his off-season workouts and really tried to develop him being all-around player. And we're going to dive right into the article. So if we take a look here, it says Redick, as in JJ Redick, spent 2 days working with Quinten Grimes this summer in the Hamptons. Grimes told SNY in August that the workouts were two of the best days of his off-season. The 30-year guard talked about the workouts in detail after Wednesday practice. Part of the work involves setting up the defender to improve the quality of your shot, how to set him up, how to come down, how to get even just 2 more feet of space, because that'll open up more on my shot, Grimes said. So just little things like sprinting all the way over to the deep corner instead of just maybe stopping at the break to get the extra bit of space, because that's the big part in the NBA. It's not the big things, it's the little things. So that was the first part of the article with Grimes telling us how JJ Redick really helped him out and what exactly they worked on in the offseason. And as far as a Knicks fan looking and just using the eye test, in today's world, a lot of people like to use numbers, a lot of people like to use stats, but I like to think of myself as an old soul. I still rely on my eyes, I still rely on the eye test. And if I'm going to give an evaluation of Quinten Grimes, the first thing I'm going to say is that he's athletic. He's one of the more athletic guards that the Knicks have, and they use him as a primary defender to go up against the James Hardens, the KDs, the elite players. Now, Quinten Grimes, he is not known as a Drew Holiday defender, but at this point in time, he's pretty much our best perimeter defender, and he's also able to put the ball on the floor, and he's getting the reputation of being known as a three-point shooter. So as far as Quinten Grimes taking his craft seriously and going to one of the all-time greatest shooters of all time, JJ Redick, for a Knicks fan, that's heaven. That's amazing, and that's only great things to hear. Now, if we dive into another part of the article, we take a look here, and it says Redick worked with Grimes on the nuances of the shooting guard position, and we also learn that Quinten Grimes went to another NBA legend in Memphis's Penny Hardaway to help him work on the ball handling. Grimes said that Hardaway helped him with reading the floor better, coming off pick and rolls, making the right reads, attacking the basket, pull-up, transition threes, being a primary ball handler, kind of getting that feel for when I get the rebound and push it all the way up the court, make a play for me and my teammates. Now, again, another aspect of Quinten Grimes' game that he decided to tune into in the offseason was his all-around game. And it always dawned on me that players that are in the NBA that have one specific skill that are just known for a shooter, I always thought about that as kind of a negative, because if you're good enough to become an NBA player, I've always felt that you should be working on your all-around game. I get it that one specific skill got you to the league, but once you make it to the league, I feel like you should try and expand your game. That way you're able to stay in the league longer, and that way you're more appealing to a lot more teams. If you're just relying on that one specific skill, let's say just being a shooter, the amount of teams that are going to be looking to sign you is going to be very, very small, as opposed to you working on your all-around game, adding to the skill of just being a shooter, being able to handle the ball, being able to come off with DHOs, being able to come off pin downs, side downs, side out of bounds plays. So if you develop your all-around skills, you just have a better chance of lasting more in the NBA and expanding your career. And I love Quinten Grimes going to Memphis's Penny Hardaway to expand his career, because Penny, at one point, he was looked at as the next Michael Jordan. After the first retirement, people were looking towards Grant Hill. Penny Hardaway was another one that people were looking towards to fill in that shoe. Unfortunately, Penny Hardaway had injuries that derailed his career. But when people look at his highlights, and when people were in that time, people are really eager to say that Penny Hardaway, if his injuries never occurred, he could have been the next face of the league. But as far as Quinten Grimes taking his offseason workouts seriously and going to two NBA legends, I'm ecstatic about it, and I don't think any Knicks fans can say anything else. Now, all of these offseason workouts, how is it going to look? How is it going to translate into the upcoming season? Well, we hope that his numbers actually go up. And if you take a look at his numbers from previous season, so last season he played in 71 games. He averaged 11 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists. Field goal percentage from the floor 46, from 3-point 38, free throw 79. Those numbers those numbers are good, but now that he's had offseason workouts with two NBA legends, and in the article is saying that he's looking to develop more of his all around game, those numbers should go up. And what I'm looking at specifically are two numbers: the assists and also the field goal three percentage. The field goal three percentage 38 as far as an NBA player is great. But if you're trying to be a very good or maybe even an elite three-pointer, we're looking at 40% and above. 40% and above is looked at as, like I just said, an elite three-point shooter. So if we get that number up a little bit, that'll be great. The assists, his numbers was at 2. And if you're going to Penny Hardaway to work on all-around skills, I feel like he should try and make it to a point. He should try and make it a point to try and get his numbers up. Assists, if he's working on ball handling, if he's working on how to get his points, how to be aggressive with because I don't think many calls are going to be going for him. The calls are going to be made for Jalen, for Julius, and for most times RJ Barrett. That's the Knicks' big three, not the NBA big three, but that's the Knicks' big three. And Quinten Grimes is going to have to pick up the pieces where they fall. So as far as assists, I hope that number goes up from 2 to maybe like 4, and then the 3-point percentage from 38, and I want it to go up to 40%. All right. So now going from one Knick, we're going to move to another Knick, and we're going to go to Julius Randle and his reaction to the Obi Toppin trade. Before we get into the actual video and reaction of Julius Randle reacting to the Obi Toppin trade, just my personal beliefs. Obi Toppin was in a tough place playing behind Julius Randle. I believe it was his second or third year with the Knicks, and Tom Thibodeau. This is my gripe with Thibodeau. It seems like he's not willing to adapt, and it seems like he's not willing to give younger players a more of a chance. Obi Toppin was more of the athletic players on the team. Besides his high flying dunks and his verticality, what he was able to offer the team was something that the team was lacking. When you look at the team, you can't say that they have a lot of athletic players that can get up and down the court and can also just drive baseline and put it on someone's head. Obi Toppin was able to offer you both. If you looked at him specifically in last season, whenever he would get a rebound and outlet the ball, you see him get up and down the court really, really fast. But another thing that Obi Toppin was working on, he was actually working on his shot. He took more three-pointers last year. He made a little bit more three-pointers, but it seemed like Obi Toppin had a really short leash with Tom Thibodeau. Every time Obi Toppin missed a defensive mark, Tom Thibodeau would pull him out right away. Every time Obi Toppin just made a bad decision, Tom Thibodeau would pull him out right away. So me personally, I wish we would have kept Obi Toppin. It seemed like Emmanuel Quickley and Obi Toppin were really good friends, and they've said it out. They said it to the public that they are. I think they were the closest as far as Emmanuel Quickley's best friend was Obi Toppin, and Obi Toppin likewise. So as far as Obi Toppin, I wish him nothing but luck in the Indiana Pacers. I hope he succeeds, but it did leave a sour taste in my mouth because I wanted Obi Toppin to stay. Now, if we get into the Julius Randle reaction to the Obi Toppin trade, we take a look here. SNY Twitter account. That's my guy, man. He was in a tough spot playing behind me. He was more than a great teammate. He's going to be great out there. Now, Julius Randle, if you've watched the videos before, you know my gripe with Julius Randle. Julius Randle, I wish he would expand his offensive game as far as developing a right hand. But the biggest gripe I have with Julius Randle is his energy that he exudes to his teammates, especially when things don't go right for him. When things don't go right for Julius Randle, it seems like he just goes back into his cocoon, and that negative energy affects the rest of the team. You don't see him trying to get his teammates involved. You don't see get his teammates trying to rile them up. You don't see him trying to affect the game in other aspects, as far as rebounding, as far as assists, as far as maybe defense. It seems like he just becomes a shell of himself. And Obi Toppin, when you see him get on the court, he knew that his minutes were very, very limited, so he wanted to make an impact as far as the minutes that he got. And you could tell that he knew that he was on a short leash with Tom Thibodeau. And for the most part last season, I thought that he did a really good job. But Julius Randle, his reactions to Obi Toppin trade, he feels sorry for him, but he's also glad that he got a great opportunity with the Indiana Pacers, and he says that he thinks that he's going to have a breakout season with the Indiana Pacers. So guys, thanks for tuning in to this video. Remember to subscribe to the channel. Tune into all the Nick Digest videos that we put out. And until next time, we'll check you out in the next video. Peace.